Okay, we're about to embark in the first touches of proof. But in order to do that, you have to understand why we're doing it. And it's for you to describe to others what they don't quite get or something they don't quite understand. And that's important for you to recognize as we're going through that it is about you just explaining yourself. And to help us with that, we're going to embark in this picture. What do you see? You should see two things. And the first thing is a young woman. Her cheek is right here. Now, let me get a different color. Her cheek, the young woman's cheek, her forehead is right here, coming down. She's got her nose, and then it's her cheek, her lips kind of, because you're looking from the side, and her jawline coming back here. This is the young woman's ear coming in here. This is the young woman's ear and her hair brushing back. Okay, so her hair is brushing back, and that's the young woman. Now, hopefully you can see that. It's kind of tough because when you're not in class, it's kind of difficult to see your faces and your reactions. But now there's the old woman who has, let's give her a blue eye. Her eye is rather big here. This is her eye. And I got a nostril here. And her mouth here, where the young woman's choker was. And this is her jawline coming through, and she's kind of looking to the side with a little bit of a wart or different growth here on her nose. So that's the old woman. Now, I only point these things out because it's not obvious to all as they go through it. And we talked about it at length for different people and had frustrations for different students throughout the class. But my example on this is the harder you look at something, the more you work at seeing something, the easier the same thing can become in the future. So a like picture, something drawn a little bit differently, is this one. Notice that it's still the young woman and old woman. Can you see it? And again, the jawline of the young woman, her chin, her cheek or nose kind of extrudes from there, her eyes and coming up. And this is a choker of the neck of the young woman. Again, the old woman, her mouth here, right here, her nose, the nose of the old woman, and her eyes, and her hair or a scarf or something covering a hood or something with her chin kind of buried in a fluffy collar right in there to help you see where that is located. Now, as we progress, we've done two drawings of two different women, and I would like you to have an opportunity to see it with the men. So here, looking the opposite direction, we have a young man and an old man. Okay, can you see it? Now again, the young man, he's got his cheek here. Oh, let's get a different color. His cheek here coming through, his jawline right in here. His nose, he's kind of in his shadow. This is a really cool hat, okay, brimmed out hat for the young man. He's looking off to his back to his left. And this is his ear, okay? Now, the old man, this is his eye. Now let's get back to the color. This is his eye for the old man. This is his mouth. This is his lips. His chin's down here. This is his nose as we go up. Okay, hopefully you can see that as well. But now, if you go back and check the two videos, the first part of the video, you'll be able to tell quite quickly between the two, old man, young man, old woman, young woman, and maybe even see them both at the same time. Because of your experience, you're able to pick it up faster. Well, I did it with pictures, but that's really what we're going to do with proofs. It's going to be really hard at first. It's going to be difficult, and then you're going to start to get it and go, hey, I got this, and you're going to put a little pride trophy up inside your trophy case because you're getting it. But stay with it, and if you have questions, please come up and talk to Mr. Bloom about it. Now here's today, Geometry Notes 2.3. You can read the pages 98 to 101, answer the questions as you go. I'm going to kind of go through this and kind of hit on it. It's called biconditional. And we're on top of page 99, biconditional statement. Combines P implies Q and Q implies P. Now these are two conditionals, the original conditional and its converse. Now we're going to combine them together, and this is the original conditional is going to be considered the forward sense of the conditional, and the converse will be considered the reverse sense. Now we're going to combine them together as P with a double-headed implication arrow. Could also be P if and only if Q with that double-headed implication arrow. This signals that a statement is a biconditional, are phrases of if and only if, or if and IFF, which is short for if and only if, or this symbol with the double-headed implication arrow. But remember, I'm not misspelling the term if. This IFF is an abbreviation of if and only if. A double-headed implication arrow placed between the P and Q can be used as well this way. Now, page 98, a biconditional. In symbols, P implies if and only if Q, or P if and only if Q, or PIFF is a single true statement that combines a true conditional and its true converse. A good definition can be written as a biconditional. Now, write the converse of the following true conditional. If the sum of the measure of two angles is 180 degrees, then the two angles are supplementary. Well, the converse of that is written here in blue. If two angles are supplementary, then the sum of their measures is 180. Determine the truth value of the converse. Well, it's true. If the converse is true, you can form a true biconditional by joining the original hypothesis, the sum of the measure of the two angles is 180, and the original conclusion, the two angles are supplementary, with the phrase if and only if. Because they are both true, the original conditional and its converse, we can now write a true biconditional. Okay, keep in mind we have the term if and only if inside here. Now, also, I took the green, I wrote it, and I took the red and I wrote it here. And instead of writing if and then, in place of the if, I just dropped the if. And in place of the then, I put if and only if. And that is a biconditional. Now, this happens to be a true biconditional because the forward sense, the original conditional, is true, and the reverse sense, the converse, is true. You can write biconditionals all day, but to write a true biconditional is the big deal. So here, if we read the problem 2, identifying the conditionals of biconditional. A ray is an angle bisector if and only if it divides an angle into two congruent angles. Now, P is the hypothesis. Well, I'm going to take the first part of that biconditional and call it the hypothesis. A ray is an angle bisector. Q, it divides an angle into two congruent angles. Well, I'm going to take that as the conclusion. Now, to write the forward sense of the words, the original conditional is me putting if a ray is an angle bisector, then it divides an angle into two congruent angles. So I've got that written out here, and the reverse is just the converse of the one I just wrote. So now it'll be if a ray divides an angle into two congruent angles, then it is an angle bisector. So I pretty much did the converse of this first one here. So in order to write the biconditional, you got to keep in mind, I'm just going to place if and only if in. And I have P, I have Q, and it's going to be this all the way through. I'm just showing you how to do it. So if I didn't know that, if I didn't know this at the beginning, I just know P and Q, I could write the original, forward sense, P and Q, and then the reverse sense, Q and P, and they're both true, or whether they're true or not. I can still write a biconditional by dropping the if and then in place of the then put if and only if. So we're going to skip this section because this was for the book, and we're going to go to page 99. This part, important components to a good definition. A good definition uses clearly understood terms. These terms should be commonly understood or already defined. Is precise. Okay. Good definition avoids words such as large or sort of and almost. Is reversible. That means you can write the good definition as a true biconditional. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're going through these, and that's it for notes for biconditionals, and you have the assignment provided. I hope things go well for you, and if you have any questions, again, come see Mr. Bloom before or after school. Have yourself an excellent day.